All right, so this is, I am so excited for this one. So all of those workshops that you've been through and learning all of these concepts in total isolation, it's been beautiful. I just this pretty little garden that is well kept and everything, but then you go to a real application and nothing is that way. Everything is really complicated. And so real applications are not just perfectly manicured. Real applications have complexity and they have some like nuance to them that makes things a little bit more challenging. And so that's why I love that I have built this bookshelf app for you so that you can apply these things that you've been learning in a real application. So I'm excited. Let's jump in. Here is our bookshelf app. It's just kency.com/bookshelf on GitHub. And actually, lots of it is the same in the way that you get it set up. We still have the same requirements. We have the setup script that you run, but things are a little bit different. For one, it actually does not ask for your email because the way that things are structured is quite a bit different. You'll notice like this is a real app. We've got the source directory, we've got our index.js, we've got different screens, we have components. Like I didn't want to muck up everything in the application with a bunch of exercise files and stuff. And so the way that this one works is we actually have a different branch for every part of the app that we're going to build. And so here, let's go ahead and get onto the different branches. Now, you can actually run git checkout to check out the different branches, but I actually built something for you to make it a lot easier for you to get going with each one of these branches. So instead of checking out different branches and things, what you're going to do is you'll run node go. And go is actually a script right here. You can dive into it if you're interested. But what node go does is it says, hey, which exercise do you want to start working on? And so then you can just navigate with your keyboard, your up and down arrows. And here we'll say, okay, I want to work on that first exercise. So we'll go to Bootstrap. And it checks out the branch and it gets everything set up for you so that you can start working on this exercise. Now, the way that things are structured here is also quite a bit different. We don't have an exercise directory and a final directory and a markdown file for things. We actually have a single markdown file that is updated for every one of these exercises, and it's an instructions.md file. So here we're learning about rendering a React app. So every single time you go to a new exercise, you're going to want to open the instructions because this is where it's going to have the background. It'll have information on the exercise, and it will also, inside of that information, it will tell you the files that you're going to be working in, which is really important. I'll show you here in just a second. We also do have extra credit in here, and it'll tell you the files that are relevant for the extra credit. And then toward the bottom, you have your elaboration and feedback. So you are going to be working in the markdown file directly. There's nothing that actually renders that markdown file for you. So you'll want to open up that markdown file. And then after you have read everything, you're ready to rock and roll, then you'll want to make sure that you start the server. So we have it going. Sometimes you may actually have to restart the server because Webpack is like, whoa, where did these files come from? So sometimes you may have to restart the server, and sorry about that. There's not much we can do. But once you're ready to rock and roll, then if you open up this source index.js, so I'll just paste that in there, you'll notice that there's something actually kind of weird going on here where it has a couple of commented out things here. And if you run the node go script, then it actually updates this file for you to say export star from index.exercise. So let's look at our file system and we'll see that we have the index.js, which is what we're looking at, and then an index.exercise.js, an index.final, and then index.extra1 and 2. And so this is the way that we structure things in this one. You'll find the final version of what you're supposed to do in the .final, and then those extra credits there as well. And so everything is just a .exercise.final throughout the workshop. So for this one, we just have one file that we're working in. In other exercises, you're going to have many files that you're going to be working in. And this is actually what makes this more realistic, because normally you're not just making a change in a single file and then like the world is your oyster. But normally what ends up happening is you have to make a change in this file and then in this file. And our instructions are going to show you exactly which file you're going to be working in. And then our friend Cody, the koala bear, will be here to tell you what you're supposed to do. And if you do get totally lost, then you can go to your index file and everything should work just fine. So that's the unique thing about this exercise. There's just to make it practical so that it's like, this is a real thing, but also so you can actually use it. So you're pretty much only going to be working in the index.exercise or in the .exercise version of all of the files, even for all of the extra credits. So that's just one thing that you'll want to keep in mind. Now, another thing that you'll want to keep in mind is that this is like a much huger, larger workshop than any of the others. In fact, when I give this workshop as a live workshop, I split it up into 4 parts. So you can kind of interleave this workshop into the other ones if you want to, however you want to structure that. But this one workshop should take you a very long time. In addition, it's also intentionally a little ambiguous because I want you to struggle with this a little bit more because it's a more real world scenario. So keep that in mind as well. There's a lot more for you to do and some guesswork that you need to do. I don't want you to bang your head against a wall trying to transform it into a door or anything, but I do want you to struggle just maybe a little bit as you go through all of these. It's way less hand-holdy, and there is way more material in each of these exercises. So I hope you really look forward to that. I think that it makes for a nice way to round things off from the totally isolated exercises that you've been doing in the other workshops and giving you a more realistic, real-world kind of experience in this actual application. So enjoy this one. I think that you're going to have a blast. If you get totally stuck, feel free to reach out to other folks in the Discord because you might need that, and we're all here to help each other. So have fun, and I'll see you all the way on the other side of this workshop.